also get the fiber, and flaxseed fiber also is a good source of protein and fatty vitamins like vitamin E, especially like vitamin E. All right, let's see. Anything else I want to tell you about vitamin D? I think we'll hold off on that tomorrow. We'll talk about the sun and vitamin D and why you don't want to wear sunscreen. You know, sunscreens block out the sun, of course. They block out UVB, but they also block out the body's ability to make vitamin D. Most of the vitamin D that's in the blood comes from the sun, and it comes from the burning ray. The sun is made up of 3 rays. Sun energy is made up of 3 rays. We call them UVA rays or UVB rays or UVC rays. And these 3 different rays all have different frequencies or different what they call wavelengths, different speeds. You can think of them as being faster or slower. Your UVC ray is the fastest, your UVA ray is the slowest, and your UVB ray, the one right in the middle, that's the ray that causes burning, and that's the ray that makes the vitamin D. So if you're wearing a sunscreen or you're wearing a sunblock, you're not going to be getting that UVB, and you're not going to be making vitamin D. And by the way, the same thing is true about folks who have a lot of pigment, especially black folks who have lots of melanin. African Americans are well known for having lower levels of vitamin D and higher rates of vitamin D deficiency health issues, including hypertension and prostate disease and colon disease and breast disease. All of these are vitamin D deficiency related conditions, and because African Americans have so much melanin in their skin, they are at high risk for vitamin D deficiency. So if you're African American, you may especially want to make sure that you're correcting any fat malabsorption issues and that you're supplementing with vitamin D and eating vitamin D containing foods. We'll talk about all this tomorrow as we continue talking about bone building nutrition, fat absorption, and vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin. Our number today, 855-660-4261. Got a line open for you. Love to hear from you. Let's take our first phone call of the day. Pat in Texas, welcome to the Brightside.
Hi, Ben. Yes, I had called a couple of days ago, and you told me to call back. My husband has nerve pain in his hands, and also need to let you know he has neurofibromatosis.
I hate it when you say that. He doesn't have neurofibromatosis. He's just got inflammation in his body. These are just I'm teasing you a little bit here, Pat. The doctors love naming these stupid things, giving you these dumb Latin terms to try and tell you what's going on. So he doesn't have neurofibromatosis like you have a child or you have a house or you have a car. When you say you have something, that's like a possession of yours. He doesn't have a process. Neurofibromatosis simply means he's got fibers in his nerves. His nerve cells are probably pumping out fibers. His nerve cells are going nuts. That's what's happening. Neurons or nerve cells are going crazy. That's basically what it is. You understand what I'm saying? Well, you don't want to say, I have this, because it sounds like it's your possession. It sounds like you own it now. It's not your possession. This is just something that's happening in his body. He doesn't have, well, I'm not going to go there. Point is, when we have a dysfunction in the body, when we have a pathology in the body, when we're experiencing symptomology in the body, it is nothing more than cells going crazy. Period. The only question we got to ask is, why are cells going crazy? Nerve pain is a classic sign of inflammation, and not necessarily big inflammation, macro inflammation. I'm talking about micro inflammation. I know I say this a lot, but for the new listeners out there, there's 2 kinds of inflammation that occur in the body. One is the kind of inflammation that you get when you break your leg or sprain your ankle or get punched in the eye or whatever, get hit with a baseball. That's macro inflammation. That's swelling, and you can obviously see that. But there's also the same kind of inflammation that occurs at the microscopic level of a cell. And when that occurs, cells begin to go crazy. They don't get the food they need. They can't eliminate the waste that they're producing. They can't get oxygen. They suffocate. I call it suffocation, starvation, toxification. It's a result of inflammation. And what's worse is microinflammation, that is. And what's worse is it spirals. It's a vicious circle. So once you have that inflammation, you get more starvation, toxification, and suffocation, which leads to more inflammation, which leads to more suffocation, toxification, and starvation, etc. Does that make sense, Pat? You see where I'm going with this thing? Okay.
Right.
Okay, so what we want to do, if we want to break this spiral, break this circle, is we want to figure out what is getting into the body that's causing, causing these cells to become inflamed. And inflammation is like a beaver's dam. You know, you ever see a beaver's dam, how there's all kinds of sticks and muck and it all kind of plugs up the water and you get this kind of pool of water being surrounded by a barricade that we call a dam? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Well, the same thing is happening at a microscopic level, except the beaver's dam that is the microinflammation of the body is not made up of logs and bricks. It's made up of fibers. This is where that word fiber comes from. And what did you call it? Neurofibra? Just tell me again. Neurofibromatosis, all right? It's just fibers in the nerves, basically, is what you're talking about. Right. And so these fibers in the nerves are causing a suffocation and starvation and a toxification of the nerve cells. And the nerve cells respond to that by becoming super sensitized, and that's the pain. Now, all that is just theory about what's happening in the body. What you want to do is say, how can we resolve this? The way you resolve any kind of inflammatory issue, and all disease has an inflammatory component, a microinflammatory component. The way you resolve this thing is you figure out what is getting into the body that's triggering this microinflammation. Now, microinflammation has a synonym, has another word that describes it, and that's called immunity. Microinflammation is the sign of an immune response. Are you with me so far? Because I'm trying to lead you here a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. So microinflammation is a sign of an immune response. What's an immune response? An immune response is a defensive response. The immune system is the defense system. So microinflammation means something has gotten into the body that's triggering the body's defense system. Okay? Hang tight, because I'm going to finish this when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Brightside. Got a line open for you at 855-660-4261. If you want to get on board, we'll be back right after this.
Hey everybody, Jason Lewis here with another great idea from JasonLewisTeam.com. Now, how would you like an energy drink that's actually good for you? That's right, one that not only gives you an afternoon pick-me-up, but that's loaded with the most important antioxidants for reducing the damage from stress. It's called Pollen Burst, and it's a natural burst of energy that lasts for hours. Now, most energy drinks rely on a massive dose of caffeine, sugar, or even vitamin B. Pollen Burst takes a more balanced approach, and that's why I like it. I also love the fact that Pollen Burst has plenty of vitamin D and green tea extract. This is the best energy drink I've ever tried. So trust me, you'll not only like it better than the others, you'll love the way it's individually packaged for freshness as well. They've got these on-the-go stick packs. They're great. Pollen Burst. It's available at JasonLewisTeam.com or simply call 1-855-310-TEAM. For a natural burst of energy, it's Pollen Burst at JasonLewisTeam.com or 1-855-310-TEAM.
So we decided to upgrade the look of our home.
You know, improve the curb appeal.
We decided to add the look of stone to the exterior.
We really like the stacked stone look.
Yeah, but when I checked into the price, it was ridiculous. No way could we afford it.
Then a friend told me about Genstone. Genstone.
Genstone comes in lightweight panels made of polyurethane. They've actually engineered the hassle out of installation. No mortar, no mesh. It was easy. Even I could do it.
We just screwed the panels to the wall and it looks like stone. I mean, it really looks like stone.
Yeah, from the box to the wall in minutes.
We love the look of our home now.
And Genstone is durable, comes with a 25-year warranty, and offers additional R-value for insulation.
If you want the look of stone at a price you can afford, call Genstone
at 855-955-STONE.
Trust me, you'll save money.
And you'll love the look.
855-955-STONE. That's 855-955-7866.
It's hard to imagine when things are going reasonably well, just how quickly things can change. But what would it take? Economic collapse? Massive crop failure? Chemical or biological attack? So many situations could find you in the grocery looking to pick up food for your family only to find that the shelves are empty. There's nothing. Don't let that happen. Act today to make sure that if it ever comes to that, you and your family will be provided for. Visit freezedryguy.com to look at the wide variety of survival foods available. Freeze-dried foods from the Freeze Dry Guy store longer, rehydrate faster, are nutritionally superior to, and taste better than any other long-term storage food available. Visit freezedryguy.com or call toll-free 866-404-3663. freezedryguy.com.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey Water Filtration Systems. The Berkey Light Systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light System today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
Not just an alternative to the mainstream media. We're the premier independent talk radio network. We are GCN.
Pat from Texas. Are you there, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, so it turns out I did a little research here. Neurofibromatosis is tumor cells growing on the nerves, but it's the same idea. Cells going crazy, okay? It's cells dividing out of control, cells doing what they shouldn't be doing. Why do cells do what they shouldn't be doing? Listen, you got 100 trillion cells, Pat, and for the most part, they're working perfectly. For most of our lives, they work perfectly. But when we get older, when our body starts to break down, they don't work so perfectly. And there's only one thing we need to ask when our cells aren't working perfectly, and all disease is cell disease. So it's basically anything going wrong with our body. There's only one thing we need to ask: what is getting into the body that is activating this immunity and inflammatory response that's causing the cell dysfunction? The immune system is the defense system. It's a sign of a defensive response. Now, I don't know your husband, right? Never talked to you before. How old is he, by the way?
He's 43.
Okay. He's very young to be having this, by the way. So I can tell you with great definity, I can tell you with 100% surety, this man has had long-standing digestive health issues. Okay? And I can tell you that because he's too young to be having this kind of breakdown. When you have this kind of breakdown at an early age, it means the body has been attacked for many years, probably decades, probably since he was a kid. Is this ringing a bell at all, ma'am?
Oh, yeah. Well, he's had the neurofibromatosis all his life. It's just that the hands
food allergies,
him.
The food allergies, the digestive breakdown, the cramping, the bloating. Has he had that all his life? Or do you know? He's had problems with food all of his life, yeah. Okay. Now, Pat, do you see how I did this here? It's not like I'm psychic. I'm telling you this because this is how the body breaks down. And I'm making myself irrelevant because you don't even need me. You know, you don't need somebody to tell you these things. There's a connection between the foods we eat and how we process them, our digestive processing, and the manifestation of these diseases. This is what your doctor should be doing. This is what doctors should be doing. You should be connecting these things up. Folks, you cannot eat the foods we eat. You cannot suffer and deal with digestive issues and say, well, everybody has it, or I'm just going to deal with them, or they're not that big a deal, and not expect it to compound. Now, Pat, the good news is your husband's only 43. You can turn this thing right around quickly. You can turn around today. Number one, start to isolate the foods that are causing the digestive problems. That's the most important thing you could do. Dairy and grains are two great places to start. but it could be anything. So get a little notebook, jot them down every time he has cramps, bowel movement problems, whatever, heartburn, nausea, whatever it is. Write it down in a book. What did I eat an hour, 2 hours, 3, 4, 5 hours before? Keep a running total. He's going to be shocked at what he finds out. Those are foods that he needs to eliminate. Next, he needs to start taking in support for the digestive system, probiotics. As much nightly essence is great. 80 billion units a day, multiple strains of bacteria. Then he wants to make sure that he's getting things that coat and soothe the digestive tract. Bone soup will coat and soothe the digestive tract. The Z-radical from Youngevity will coat and soothe the digestive tract. Aloe coats and soothes the digestive tract. The glucosamine capsules can help. Noni juice can help.